system of linear equations using the elimination method. When you're solving for linear equations, what they're doing is they're looking for a solution for both. And let me demonstrate with a picture. If you understand, on the coordinate grid, you have your x and your y. And we're going to have like a line. And one line is going to go like this, okay? And then because it's a system, you have another line that's being graphed too. Now, let's say that that line actually goes like this. Okay. When they say, what is the solution for this system? What they mean is they want to know at what point do both of these equations equal the same thing? And that means they want to know, where is that spot? Because at that spot, both of these equations means they're both x's and both y's are equal to the same thing. And what they mean by both x's and both y's is, this is your x, which means what is my x? It goes, whatever that is, that's your x. And then what's my y? So that would be a solution to both equations. So when you're solving for a solution, that's what they want. They want to know, where is the spot on the coordinate grid where both lines actually have the same x and the same y? Where is it that they hit each other, where they intersect? So what I'm going to demonstrate is how to figure that out, okay? So we don't really figure that out by graphing, though you could. You could. But there's another way to do this, and let me show you how this works. The elimination method, what it means is that we're going to solve for x and y on two equations. Now, let me show you how this works. What we're going to do is we're going to take both of these equations. I'm going to write them over here. Negative 4x minus 2y equals negative 12. And the other one is 4x plus 8, plus 8y equals 20. So what they say in the elimination method is we want to, first off, we want to eliminate one of the variables. We're going to add, and I know it seems kind of weird. It is kind of fancy. It's kind of fancy. We're going to add these two things together. And what we do when we add them, okay, when I mean we add, I mean we're going to take the x's and we're going to add them. We're going to take the y's, we're going to add them, but we're going to take what's left and we're going to add that. So what we want to do is eliminate one of the variables with addition. So look at what happens. If I have, and I'm going to highlight this, look, a negative 4, and I add it to a positive 4, guess what happens? I now have 0 x's. So have I eliminated one of the variables? And the answer would be yes. You now have no x's if you add these two things together. But I still have other stuff. Look, I have a negative 2y and a positive 8y. Adding them together would give me a positive 6y equals 2, and I still have to add the rest of it, okay? Now what I have left is a negative 12 and a 20. And if I add both of those, I get an 8. So now look at what I'm left with. I'm going to rewrite this. I'm left with 6y equals 8. We want to continue to solve using algebra, okay? We're solving for y. So the opposite of multiplying y by 6 is to divide the other side by 6. So I'm left with 8 divided by 6. And let me go ahead and pop that in the calculator because I have a tendency to come up with the wrong number. So 8 divided by 6. 1.3 repeating. Oh, Lord. So because that's 1/3, I want to leave this as a fraction where I want to say y equals 1/3. Because it's kind of hard to use this if you're going to put 0.33333. That's not a good number. So I'm going to leave it as y equals 1/3. Now, what we can do is we have the y part of our solution. Let me show you what I mean. If I have my line and I have my two lines, what they're saying is this is the x and this is the y part. So the height of where they both meet is going to be located at 1 divided by 3, which is 0.3 repeating. So we know the height of where they're meeting. What we need to do now is solve for the x. This part is still unknown. So what we do now is we take the y, and we're gonna substitute y into one of the math problems. Okay, let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to erase a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to erase a little bit of this because we already know that our y is equal to 1/3. So I'm just going to write from this. I know that y equals 1/3. Okay. Now let's go ahead and we can take any of the math problems. I'm going to go ahead and choose this one. Doesn't really matter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute the y for 1/3, 1 divided by 3. So let's go ahead and rewrite this math problem. 4 times x plus 8 times, look, 1/3 equals 20. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and do the order of operation. I'm going to solve. Let's go ahead and do 8 times 1/3. Oh, my lord. Let me go ahead and I'm going to do that by hand. Well, let me see what it comes out to the calculator. I know that's not going to be pretty. It's going to be ugly. Let's see. 8 times, oh lord, 0.13333. Let's see. Nasty. Let's just say 2.66666. We're 2 1/3. Can we just do that? It's going to be 2 2/3 because 0.666 is 2/3. So I'm just go ahead and say that's 2 2/3. It really doesn't matter because it's not for what we're doing. So let's say that's 2 2/3. Okay. So I want to solve this. I've got to keep solving it using my algebra. Remember, I'm solving for x. So I want to do the opposite of adding 2 2/3 is by subtracting 2 2/3. So 4x equals 20 minus 2 2/3. Okay. Again, that's going to give me, what is that, 17 1/3? Yeah, let's say 17 1/3. So I have 4 times x equals 17 1/3. Now I want to do the opposite of multiplying by, or dividing by, multiplying by 4, which is to divide by 4. So I'm going to have x equals 17 1/3 divided by 4. Oh, let's go to the bottom of the calculator. It's going to be nasty. Let's see what we got. 17 point a third, which is 3.333. Let's just say that divided by 4. 4 1/3. Okay. So my answer is going to be x equals 4 1/3. So now I have a solution set. Now let me show you the solution. Let's go back and look. What you're going to do is you're looking for a solution where x is one number, where remember, it's where the lines both cross. So where they both cross is where x equals 4 1/3, and where y is equal to 1/3. And that would be considered the solution. So again, it's going to be two numbers, and they might write it like this. And again, remember, these are ordered pairs, so this is your x and this is your y. Let's do it again differently. And what I want to show you is one where you actually, when you're adding, you actually have to manipulate. So let's do another. I'm going to go ahead and erase this. Oh, well, I guess I can leave it up. Let's go ahead and I'm going to show you one. Let's do this one. Oh, we'll do this one here. Okay, let me do this one. Let's do this guy. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to solve for x, okay? Or I'm going to eliminate my x's, okay? So again, watch. I'm going to go ahead and write these out so you can see them. So negative 2x minus 9y is equal to negative 25. And then I have negative 4x minus 9y is equal to negative 23. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to eliminate these x's. Now, you'll notice that if I just try adding them together, it won't eliminate them, right? Like -2 plus -4 is going to give me a -6. That's not eliminating it. So what I want to do is I want to create a situation where they cancel each other out. And let me show you what that situation would be. What that situation is when I want to change this -2 here to be a -4 or a +4, right? Because I want to cancel it. I want a +4 to be added to a -4 so that what happens when they both add up, they get a 0. So in order for -2 to become a +4, I have to multiply it by -2. So what that means is that I'm going to take the whole equation. Let me go ahead and let me erase a little bit. I want to take the whole equation and I want to multiply this whole equation by a positive or by a -2. Because -2 times -2 is going to create a +4 and it's going to change the equation completely. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Now, it's getting a little messy here, but let's go ahead and I'm going to try to distribute this -2 across. So -2 times -2x is a +4x. -2 times -9 is a +18y. -2 times -25 is a +50. So can you see how I've changed it? I've changed it to 4x plus 18y equals 50. Now, what I'm going to do is rewrite the whole thing. And again, this is kind of fancy, and it might seem a little long. You're like, God, it's kind of taking a while. When it comes to taking your GED test, maybe this is one of those questions where we're like, you know what? If it's taking too long, just skip it. You know, because the point is that you don't know what the next question is going to be on the GED test, and it might be something that is easily or more easily answered. So maybe one of the test options might be just skip it. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and take the time to show you the math. Now let's go ahead and again remember we're going to add these two things together and see what we get. Okay, so again, our whole purpose was to eliminate the x's. Yeah. So 4x, +4 plus -4 is now a 0. I have eliminated them. Let's keep going. 18y plus a -9y is a 9y, +9y, equals +50 times -25 is a +25. So I am left with 9y equals 25. Let's go ahead and solve for y. The opposite of multiplying by 9 is divide by 9. So now I have 25 divided by 9. Let's go ahead and pop that in the calculator. Again, it's going to be an ugly number. I don't know why we're getting such ugly numbers. Just our luck, I guess. 25 divided by 9 equals 7. Ooh, what a disgusting number. So y equals 2.7 repeating. It's disgusting. Now, let's go ahead and what we're going to do is we're going to substitute this in to one of the equations. Again, it doesn't matter which one you do, okay? So you can go back to your original equations and you can go ahead and substitute the y for 2.7 repeating. Now, let's go ahead and take this one. It doesn't really matter, okay? Now, again, see how much writing is going on here. Again, this might be one of those questions that you skip, okay? But let's go ahead and do it, okay? -2x minus 9 times 2.7 repeating. I don't know how we're going to do that. Probably have to do it as a fraction, but whatever. Equals, what was our number? -25. Okay, let's go ahead and solve. So first off, I want to combine 9 with 2.7 repeating. That is not going to be pretty. So let's clear this out. 9 times 2 point, let's just say 77. We'll just get an estimate here. 24.93. Okay. So I'm going to have -2x minus 24.93 equals -25. So again, we're solving for x. So let's go ahead and do the opposite of subtracting -24.93. And it's probably, with our estimate, that's actually probably a 25, but it really doesn't matter. Let's just go ahead and use what's there. So we're going to do the opposite, which is to add. So -2x equals -25 plus 24.93. Again, we add these two together. So 25 and, oh God, Such ugly numbers. 25 minus, what was that? 24.93. Guess we're going to get a decimal. 107, disgusting. All right, so negative 2x equals negative, or positive, no, it is negative, what? 0.07. Cool. Opposite of multiplying by negative 2 is divide by negative 2. So we have x equals negative 0.07 divided by 2, or actually negative 2. Negative, negative, they cancel out. So 0.07 divided by 2. It's going to be ugly, but it really doesn't matter. It's the point of what we're doing. It's what's happening. 135. So whatever. X equals 0.035. So that would actually be your solution. I don't even know if you can see it anymore. It's pretty disgusting over here. Look at this. Here's your X. Here's your Y. But again, it's just the process that we're doing. This is one of those fancy things. You could actually graph if you had time and you had more of an accurate kind of coordinate grid. You actually could just graph these two lines and see where the intersection of both lines is.